My name's Lizzie Gall and I'm a Senior Careers Advisor at the Professional Support Unit. This short webinar today will focus on part one of the SCAN career planning model for clinicians, the self-awareness section. Ideally, you'll have a paper and pen with you so you can jot down notes in response to the questions. I have included a link here to a video about the SCAN model, which goes into it in greater depth. And I've also included a link here to our foundation stage career planning webpage, in which you will find more comprehensive information and download versions of the exercises outlined here. So, first of all, what is self-awareness? This is about getting a better understanding of you. It is about understanding your interests, skills and talents, values, and personal stressors, as well as considering what your personality type is. Ultimately, reflecting on these areas allows you to identify what your priorities are, what your needs must be met for you to feel satisfied and fulfilled. So, why is self-awareness important? Well, firstly, if you considered all of these aspects, you will hopefully make more informed, robust career decisions based on your needs and priorities. Secondly, the quality of career decision-making is thoroughly scrutinised at application and interview stage for specialty applications. Understanding your own values, interests, strengths and personality, and how these relate to your specialty choices will help you to create more credible applications and be more authentic and compelling at interviews. So let's start with values. Values are the degree to which a person finds their worth worthwhile. The idea is that if a person's values are incongruent with their work, this will lead to greater levels of dissatisfaction. Now look at this slide and consider your top 3 values. You can pause the video for a moment to take a note of these. Consider how any specialities of interest you may have will be in alignment with these values. Alternatively, consider how much they may be challenged within these specialities. Consider how many specialities may meet your values. For example, you can think, can you think of more than one specialty that accommodates excitement, creativity, and camaraderie? Next, let's move on to skills and talents. And let's reflect on what your skills or areas of strengths may be. What are the aspects of your work that you do well at? What have you received positive feedback on from your ARCP? What are the skills that underpin these aspects? When thinking about your skills, it can be useful to consider 2 achievements. These are not necessarily prizes or rare achievements, but they are something that you've done that you felt particularly proud of. Now, take a pen and paper and consider which of these statements you would answer yes or no to in relation to the perception of your skills or strength. This slide relates to the key skills linked to specialty selection. So, if you've linked yes to both the number statements listed alongside these skills, it could be an indication that you have these key strengths in this area. This next slide outlines how these skills areas are prioritised and scored by different specialty panels or assessment centres. For example, showing examples of strength in vigilance and situational awareness, as well as coping with pressure, would be scored highly in an anaesthetic interview or assessment centre. Now, let's consider the areas in and outside of work that you might find challenging. Although specialities will include parts that you find challenging, the aim is to identify aspects you might find particularly stressful and try to find a pathway that minimises these. Stressors can be different for everyone, working in uncertain conditions, bureaucracy, isolation, boredom, etc. It can be useful to consider events either inside or outside of work that have left you experiencing higher stress levels than normal. What events were these, and what did you find particularly challenging about them? How aware are you of which specialities may minimize these stress triggers? Lastly, let's think about personality type. Should your personality type have any bearing on your specialty choice? Do you get your energy and focus from working within a fast-paced team environment or having time to reflect on your clinical diagnosis in a more structured environment? It might be worth taking one of the free personality tests available online. I've included a link to a Jung one here. So, to sum up, this is a very short introduction to self-awareness. When doing some of these exercises, you may realise that you would like to think and reflect on these aspects in further depth, at which point it can be a great idea to arrange a careers appointment to discuss your ideas and how they may link to your future career options and preparing for competitive applications and interviews. So please follow this link to here to book a confidential careers appointment with a careers consultant.